University of South Carolina's head coach, is 24th as a head coach overall. He comes into the season with a winning percentage of .692 in the SEC. That's second highest among all SEC coaches in winning percentage in history, just behind Skip Bertman. And with that, I turn it over to our head coach, Ray Tanner.
Thank you, Andrew. I would like to reiterate what Andrew said. We do very much appreciate the coverage. Like most coaches, some days when you take an L on the chin, it's not great to get coverage, but goes with the territory. But it is of great benefit to us. We feel like we're the most covered baseball program in the country, and that's part of our recruiting package. We're out trying to lure young men to come play for us. So we are very grateful for the time that you put into our baseball program. That being said, we're anxious to get underway again. It's always exciting, the first official day, and we were going to get back at it. We got some veterans back on the field, some guys that enjoyed a tremendous year last year, and got some holes to fill, but we're going to work hard to get in position to play at the end of the year. It's nothing different than it has been in the past. We got to find out who the guys up front are going to be on the mound, and a lot of position players are back, and those positions are set. We got 3 weeks of scrimmages, hopefully if the weather cooperates, and we'll be ready to go on February 18th.
Ray, how many times this offseason have you gotten the question, did you guys win it all again?
I kind of, after a while, when I was out on the circuit, I would sort of start my speeches with repeat, so I could save the time during the process. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been great, and I love the situation we're in. I love expectations here. It's part of the deal. We want our fans and alumni to feel like we do as players and coaches. And all you can do is try to get in the postseason. Last year became magical. We played as good as we could play at the right time of the year, and certainly we know how difficult it will be to repeat. I don't think you'll get any of my players to say that we'll do that today, although some might. But the deal is, you just try to get in position. And that's all you can do.
Skipper, last year was my first year covering you, and you said going into last year that this was going to be like no team that you would actually coach before. You're going to have to scrap. You're going to have to manufacture defense, pitching, and you won a national championship doing it. Has it changed your philosophy as a coach in putting together a team and the way you play throughout the season?
Well, I think that I started undergoing a transition probably a couple of years ago when we got the message in 2008, 2009 that the bat legislation was on the horizon. This is actually the second time, and some of the bat manufacturers told us that you might want to think a lot more about pitching and defense and guys that could run versus the power hitters and the 3-run homer. And of course we know the success that Coach Bertman had at LSU with the 3-run homer. And it's changed. I think most people will tell you their home run totals were down this fall by at least 50%, some more. It remains to be seen what exactly is going to happen. But pitching and defense always give you a chance to win. It may be even at a greater premium. But what I think is important is guys that can go from first to third, guys that can score from second on a base hit, guys that can bunt, guys that can steal a base with a green light. So it remains to be seen. But it is probably a change for college baseball.
Coach, it says under starting pitchers, Webb and Roth, and then a whole bunch of more, this guy or that guy. Season will start today, Webb and Roth on Friday, Saturday.
That would be correct if we started today. But I think the difference is, like last year, for instance, you had Cooper and Dyson, and the 3 weeks prior to opening day probably wasn't going to change much, regardless of how they pitched. That's not the case now. I think Webb and Roth are out front based on what they've done in the past and in the fall. But it's not by a great margin. I think they're going to have to continue to prove to us that they deserve to be out there. They position themselves. Beyond that, it's going to come from a host of pitchers. Guys that we like, guys that we think we have some depth, but maybe haven't set themselves apart at this time.
How does Les Moreland look at this point?
He's been outstanding. He's in great shape. I think he's the lightest he's been in a long time. He's worked out extremely hard. His bullpens have been good. He does have a little bit of experience under his belt. That's an advantage for him. But what he does the next 3 weekends makes a difference as well. And I'll go ahead and address the Matt Price scenario. Right now we got him in the bullpen. We think that if we can get to him, he's about as good as you get in college baseball. But if you don't get to him and you don't give him enough opportunities, then you're wasting a good arm sitting down there in the bullpen. So, and that could be adjusted as we go. We'd like to help him decide more than one game a week. And if he's a starter, then he's probably out there once. If he's in the bullpen, probably twice, maybe a third time possibly later on in the year. But that's where we are. He's doing really well, although he will not pitch this weekend. We'll hold him out. He's been sick. He had a touch of strep, missed 3 workout days, and we're just going to hold him just because Coach Myers would like for him to have a real good day of side work before he goes back into his scrimmage because he missed 3 weeks. That's the only reason we're holding him.
Ray, how much has Jerry Myers already made an impact on this team as pitching staff?
Well, I personally think that he's made an impact based on some bullpens that I've been able to see in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I think he helps a tremendous amount with maturity, poise, and composure with our guys. He leads by example, but he's a teacher as well. And he tends to bring out the best in guys. So I'm anxious to see, really this weekend what happens with Harper, with Belcher, with Westmoreland, Neff, Colby Holmes. I'm anxious to see, against batters now for a few days.
With all the running around that you've done this off-season, all the appearances, does it almost seem like a relief now that you can finally start to concentrate on baseball again?
Well, I'm going to be back to somewhat of a normal schedule for a change, but relief sounds like maybe I didn't enjoy it, and quite honestly, I did enjoy it. Other than maybe not being at home quite enough during the week. Some nights I was out 4 or 5 nights doing different events. It was a blast. I mean, the reason I was out there is because we won a national championship. Not because I'm a great speaker, mind you, but that's why I was on the circuit. And I enjoyed it. It was great. And it was a lot of fun, I think, for everybody. But now we're getting close to baseball full time.
Coach, how have your guys embraced the new bats and the mentality that goes with them?
I did something that a few coaches did around the country. With this bat change, and there's competition out there among the different companies, they all presented scenarios and product, and I basically told my players, I don't get the hit you guys do. You've got to be the guys in the lab. You've got to look at these bats, use them, experiment, see what you think is best. And they really made a decision. We still at this point have not made an official decision, but it's the players' decision. I have not gotten involved in that. I told our players we will use whatever you want to use. And a couple of them even said wooden bats. I said, with the exception of wooden bats. Because the new aluminum bats are more wood-like. I think there's a 5% differential, but you still have an opportunity maybe with an aluminum bat if you don't hit it on the sweet spot to possibly get it out of the infield. But, the ball stays in the park. Now, we'll hit balls out in batting practice. It's not as many as before, but it's different. And I think the traditionalists are going to love the game, and I don't have a problem with it. It's the same for everybody. I know our game was pretty good, and I hope that the fans embrace that. That's the only issue I have. Baseball has been pretty good, and I don't want to wake up in the middle of April and our fans not be happy with the way the game's played across the country.
Ray, just following up with the all the appearances. You just said that you enjoyed it. Does that maybe become a little addictive? You're in such demand, you're lauded everywhere you go, and you go, hey man, this is great. We got to keep on winning the national championship.
Well, I believe that together everyone accomplishes more, and if we have more ticket sales, if we have greater attendance, we have more enthusiasm, that's what it's all about. I believe that. When I first got here, I went to a lot of meetings. I invited myself quite a few times, and I was trying to sell tickets. I was trying to get them interested in Carolina baseball, and Dr. McGee at the time, he put me out there in a number of situations. We didn't even have reserved seats when I got here at the start. We had general admission, and I believe that that's part of the process. You got to have good players, good coaches, but you got to have everybody involved, including our fans and supporters. And I enjoy all that. I don't mind the expectations. I don't mind the negativism at times. I think that's it's a compliment. It's maybe a backhanded one at times, but long time, and if there ever is a day that I feel that the pressure is too great, more than I put on myself, then I probably have to rethink the profession. But I believe in that. I feel strongly about that. And expectations is good for everybody.